Hey man, I came as fast as I could. What's going on?
Please, come in.
Your voicemail was really vague. You want to tell me what's going on?
First, we both get naked. Only we're wearing sailor hats. We get into a jacuzzi filled with Pepto-Bismol. I clip your toenails, and you shave my buttocks.
What is wrong with you? Here's the review. What's up, and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today we'll be talking about a classic comedy that I don't often hear people talk about that much. It's Rat Race. Rat Race focuses on a number of different people as they all race to find a bag full of $2 million. Meanwhile, a group of rich businessmen gamble on anything and everything they can find because they don't know what else to do with their money. It's hard to talk about what Rat Race is all about because at the heart of it, it's incredibly simple. It's just a bunch of people hilariously fighting to get to a bag of money. But why this comedy is so good, and why my wife actually thinks it's the funniest movie ever made, is because even though comedy is subjective, there's an argument to be made about Rat Race being objectively funny, which sounds ridiculous, but it's true. Because there's something in the movie for everybody in terms of comedy. You see, this movie focuses on a lot of different people, and every single group of individuals have their own type of comedy associated with them. You have the two friends that are without a doubt there for physical humor aspects. My kid saw the movie, he didn't understand the movie plot-wise, but anytime these two characters showed up, he laughed, and he laughed, and he laughed because he prefers physical humor, because he's a kid. Then you have the family going after the prize together, and their humor is very, very similar to something that the Griswolds would be known for from National Lampoon's Vacation series. So that type of humor is like, dysfunctional family, life in general silliness. You have Mr. Bean in the movie essentially just being Mr. Bean, and his humor is obviously just, slapstick, kind of weird, random. You have Whoopi Goldberg's character and her daughter, and one of them has anger management issues, while the other's really, really chilled out. So you have this opposites dynamic, which works really well for comedy. You have Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character, and his humor is all about embarrassing things. So he's always kind of put in these really precarious, vulnerable situations that gets the audience laughing. There's even British humor in the movie for people that can't stand American comedy. It's just all over the place with its styles of comedy. And what's so beautiful is that it blends together a lot of that better than you typically imagine. The setup for all these jokes is really good. They'll set up a joke a few scenes back and follow through on it several minutes later. And the film is paced so well that even though it juggles between all these different characters, when it follows through on that initial joke setup, it's really good, and it's smart. Even though it's mostly dumb humor, it's smart in how it's pulled off. You also really can't complain about the casting here. In 2001, ensemble comedies weren't as extravagant or saturated as they are now. You didn't see them as often, and if you did, they were usually so convoluted, they treated the audience like idiots, so most jokes fell flat. It's hard to make a movie with this many people and have it make sense in a way that still feels like a movie. Every now and then it works, but what movie makers need to keep in mind is to keep all these characters unique, and all of the characters in Rat Race are indeed unique. The more you think about it, it's incredible what they were able to pull off in terms of differentiating these characters. Every time you watch the movie, every single time, you can essentially get something else out of it because you might be focusing on a different group this time. I don't know, this is a comedy that works. It works really, really well. And I wish more people would talk about it because I don't have very many flaws to talk about. I mean, narratively, you can't really say that there's a main character, which is often a problem, but heck, Avengers Endgame didn't really have a main character either. But pacing-wise, it still worked. It's rare, but it happens. So let's take a look at the final score for a second. From an unbiased technical vantage point, there's a lot in this film that did well. I really liked how they paid attention to comedy in general and how they interwove the different styles of comedy to work as one big thing. I also like the casting and setup of the characters. While it's not visually appealing by any means, it still has a lot of great things to appreciate from a technical vantage point. This score is 86%, and as for my bias score, comedy, even objective ones, are still subjective in preference. And this is a fantastic movie that I saw much later in life. I don't exactly have nostalgia for it because I didn't see it when I was younger, but I can see myself thinking fondly back to this movie in the coming years because I had a blast with it. This score is 96%, and when we average out the two scores together, we come to the final rating of 91%, 91 out of 100 possible stars, or an A- letter grade. Guys, have you seen the movie? And if you have, let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section down below, and as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with my next review, and until then, peace out.
Dave examines movies we just watch for fun. Davey is the expert, he is the #1 critic that I go to when I need a movie pick. Thanks for joining up with us. We